But again, as we mentioned, there are very differences between London and Paris here. When I was in London for a couple of years, I didn't find it a problem walking around for hours at a stretch. But here, given the factors I just mentioned here, it just becomes so discouraging and disincentivizing to do so. Rajiv Mitra, perhaps I'll come to you for the last word here. The fact still remains that, let's be real here, the space in a cities is limited and it comes as a premium here. We can want as many aspirations, dreams as possible here. It may be even possible in cities like Noida or Gurgaon, but in cities like Mumbai or Kolkata, for instance, here, these cities were never built centuries ago with the idea of having cars on these roads here. A time will come, there will be a saturation point reached, if not at all. What is the best way approach? Because best way forward? Because so far I see a chicken and the egg situation here. Do we come up with better infrastructure to encourage people to not use their cars, or do we stop people from using cars so that they'll be forced to rely on public infrastructure, and then that will put the demand to improve that infrastructure?
To answer your question, I would say everything depends on planning and how effectively we plan it. I gave you the example of two cities where they have solved the problem somewhat. And so if we use that as an example, we can say that we don't need to reinvent the wheel. The wheel has already been invented. We need to just see what suits us. And then we need to create the infrastructure and build it. We need to plan this. We need to plan not restricting cars, but creating more space for parks. You know, the example just came up that people don't park in paid parking lots and they're parking somewhere where it's free, which means what? Which means parking is available. So where is the problem? If I can park anywhere I want, where is the problem? What is the problem we are talking about? You know, so I think there is still space, but if we create and organize lots all over the world, there are parking lots from where people walk. And it doesn't have to be 5,000 miles away. It can be very close, next to where you live. See, we have blocks in South Delhi, A block, B block, C block, whatever. So if we have a parking lot for every defined block, and the land there has been sold by the government, so the government can allocate that land if they have planned well and say that this is the parking lot for this entire block. And none of the cars will be allowed to be parked on the streets. You can do that. But the parking lot is non-existent. There is no parking lot. So you're forced to park on the streets. And parking on the streets is not safe. It spoils the car. There are many things. People steal things from the car. So it is good for everybody if you can create parking lots in a very planned way and say, hey, this is the place where you park your car, which every developed society has done in this world. So I don't think restricting cars, which will again affect the quality of life, take away your freedom of mobility. I give you an example. If there are 4 people in a family and all 4 of them are working, so how can they share one car? You tell me. It's not possible.
Exactly.
So if you're taking and putting people on the public transport,
and
which
then
is again absolutely full and brimming with people, you can't really add more people to that. So that's the issue we have. I think everything needs to be replanned, relooked, and we can do it. I'm very sure we can do it because we have very able people here in this country, and they should be able to solve the problem.
And let's not also forget here, because since we don't have women on the panel here, because we wanted to make it a very short discussion, it's not by design. It's also the important aspect of women's safety. The fact still remains here. Most women don't feel comfortable in public transport and they will prefer to be in the safety of their own vehicles. That is a very important factor that you can't negate them by forcing to be out on public transport. Having said that, I get your points, Rajiv Mitra and Parin Viswarya. There's no doubt in the fact that there has to be a solution, because our cities are being choked and overflowing at this point. Now, again, it comes to a chicken and egg solution. As Rajiv Mitra pointed out, solutions do exist. There have been case studies where it has been implemented and effectively they need to be done with a lot more intent and a lot more dedication, rather than just coming up with a simple solution of restrict the number of vehicles. It's a move the Supreme Court has suggested. It's something which even the Maharashtra government is proposing as well. Thank you both gentlemen for joining me on this very important discussion which appeals to all our urban viewers.